How is estate planning like soccer? My name is Andrew Ayers. I'm an estate planning and business law attorney with offices in Edina, Minnesota and New York City. And today we're going to look at a comparison between what we can learn from soccer and what we can take from that to apply to our estate planning. Now, I'll start out by saying I'm a very big soccer fan. You'll find me many weekend mornings watching the live games coming in from Europe, from England, from Spain, from Italy, from France. I love a good soccer game, and so making this video was one of the most fun things I've done in quite a while. My kids are always rolling their eyes when they see my videos. They say, "Dad, it's so boring." Well, this one's about soccer, so the kids can hopefully enjoy it a little more. So the question is, how is estate planning like soccer? Well, I went through and I picked out a few different ways that we can compare the two. First is we need to build a strong lineup. So obviously in soccer, we want to put the best lineup out there when we have a very important game. If we're in a Champions League final, it's the end of the season and we need points to win the league title, we want to have the strongest lineup possible. When we look at our estate plan, same thing, we want to have the right documents put in place. We want the strongest documents. For some people, that may just be a simple will with some powers of attorney. For others, it may be much more complex, a trust, maybe a business trust, more advanced care, maybe a special needs trust. So there can be very different roles, very different people in our lineup. So we want to make sure that we're building that strong lineup, both on our soccer team and in our estate plan. Next similarity between estate planning and soccer, the importance of teamwork and collaboration. As you've probably seen in my other videos, it's very important that you work with the right people when you're creating your estate plan. I use the concept of team for this, TEAM, trusted experts, advisors, and mentors. What we look at is we have all of these experienced professionals around you, your lawyer, your financial advisor, your accountant. We want to make sure that we're coordinating amongst all of them. We want that teamwork so that your estate plan takes what your financial planner is putting together with the tax advantages your accountant has set up, so that that estate plan takes care of all the different pieces and is going to drive you towards that goal you're looking for your legacy. Next lesson we can learn is the importance of adapting to changing situations. So if you've watched soccer, you know the game can change. It's not going to be the same 22 players, 11 on the side, that start the game that end it. We often have to do substitutions and change the lineup around. Same thing's going to happen with your estate plan. Let's say you have children under 18 and you've appointed a guardian for them and a trustee, but a couple years later we've decided we want somebody different in that role. Now it's time for that substitution. Unlike soccer, there's no limit on how many substitutions you can make. So if you need to keep changing that guardian, we need to keep updating the trustee provisions, that's okay. Soccer is going to limit you to 5 substitutions per game. Your estate plan doesn't have that kind of limitation. Next, we have to take a look at a long-term perspective. So a soccer game is at least 90 minutes plus extra time. Your estate plan is a long-term plan. You don't need to update it if nothing changes. We're always going to recommend you do and that you check in after 3 years to see whether or not any changes are needed. However, we want to have a plan that if you signed your will at 25, it's still going to be valid at 85 if you never updated it. So when you're at 25 and you're creating your estate plan, remember that you want to make changes over time. You're going to adapt to those changing situations, and you're going to make sure that your estate plan reflects who and what you want to have happen to your legacy, who's a guardian, who's a trustee, what's going to happen to your assets. As time goes on, you may find that the long-term perspective requires you to move on from a simple will-based plan to a more complex trust and some other advanced planning. So no matter how you're going to look at it, we have to have that long-term perspective even when creating that first estate plan. A lot of people just want to have a simple 1 or 2 page will and figure they'll get back to the rest of it later. I can tell you from experience that that later can sometimes be a decade, 15, 20 years longer. I have a lot of clients who come in much later saying they signed this will 20 years ago. Their children are now grown. They have grandchildren. Their estate plan needs to be totally updated. That long-term perspective has now changed. And we want to make sure that we have the right plan for where you are in that journey. So if you're ready to get started, or if you just want to hop on a call and talk about soccer, you can go to my website, andrewmayers.com. There's a red legal strategy session button. You'll be taken to my personal calendar where we can set up a 15 or 20-minute phone call. We can talk about where your estate plan is, any updates that need to happen, or again, we can just talk about some soccer. So if you like this video, you can hit the thumbs up button and a like button below. You can share it. You can check it out on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's a little different, talking about soccer and estate planning, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.